Buki Jushing Leto Cham Rira Lushin Yende Yembadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Rokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Irang Guru Radha Mandala Kamyatayami Chudang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dani Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gibe Sonam Ki Lola Benchir Sangye Druparsho Chudang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Kipe Sonamgi Dola Benchir Sangye Druparsho Chudam Soki Chonamla Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Kipe Sonamgi Dola Benchir Sangye Druparsho. All right then. So Seiji asked if he could join the translator group. He's also on the staff of running the college, so we had to make a compromise, which is that he'll spend like 1 hour a day in the translation classes, and then he'll listen to the rest of them on the knowledge base, I guess. Then his request coincided with another request I got in Austria from, as I mentioned, I think he's an Audi dealer, and he's a big one, and he's a good guy. He started out at the bottom, and then he started selling cars, and now I think he's one of the largest in Europe. And he keeps throwing money at us, and I don't ask him, he just offers it. And so he offered 10,000 euros. And he said, this is for the translation program, but I want a specific kind of translation. And I said, well, we don't usually do that, but what do you want? And you can come closer if you want. And he said, because their guys are kind of squished up. He said, can you translate a book about the karmic correlations? If you do this, you get this. If you do this, you get this, And many people have asked me for that over the years. And as I said, I think there are two scriptures that I think are very appropriate for that. One is the Karma Vibhanga, which is in the Kangyur, and it's where Buddha tells stories of correlations. And the one about being respectful to your parents comes from there. And then there's another book called The Crown of Knives, which is often mistranslated as Wheel of Sharp Weapons. I was there when they made that translation. It was at the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives in 1973, and it was bad. So don't use that. The story in the Karma Vibhanga is about, a crown that lands on somebody's head, and it has little helicopter blades, and it's chopping open their head. And that's the crown. That's the Wheel of Knives, So you should translate it as Crown of Knives. And if you don't think so, I can go show you the story. So I did a couple things. I translated that story about the real Crown of Knives, the way it landed on somebody's head. And it's a story about Lord Buddha not respecting his parents in a previous life. So Master Jen might be interested in this, because they like to teach this filial piety thing. No, and it's a very beautiful text. You might translate it for him or share it with him. It's by the Buddha, and it's about being respectful to your parents.
You have a translation.
I translated it, yeah. So I translated it because I wanted to sell it to the sponsor, because there was another woman who might give some money. So she did. She matched the first guy. So we have 20,000 euros. And then I want to ask them to increase it to 30 or 40, because we need more funding. Your scholarships are being funded by a fund from Mr. Liu, and that wears out at the end of this term. So I think we should just, and to tell you the truth, I complain about fundraising, but I enjoy it because I feel like a matchmaker. This car dealer, he wants to learn about correlations. Seiji wants to translate a book. Well, let's just marry them to each other, you know. So I think it's a cool thing if you find a sponsor who really wants something, and if you can supply it to them and help the whole world can read this book. So I got excited about it. And in the coming days, I will ask you to help me with fundraising. I think maybe you guys can help me write a few proposals together, and you can see how I do it. And then, because I won't last forever, you're going to have to do some fundraising. So I think we have to write Mr. Liu. We have to entice him to another round. We have a connection in this very room. Ben Game's one of his executives. And but I like to offer a real thing to a sponsor. I don't like to whine for money and don't give them anything. So we have a new translation of the Daimakono commentary from Mr. Liu. It's a lot of pages. It's 100 pages. It's impressive. And we're gonna send it with a request to continue his current level of funding. So it's nothing he hasn't done before. But also I would like to expand the European connection and get more funding from those guys. And it's just, the more money we get, the more we can print these books. So I went looking for the other book about karmic correlation, which is called the Crown of Knives. And it was written by a teacher of Atisha called Dharma Rakshita. Okay, Dharma Rakshita. 1,000 years ago. So Atisha is 964 or something like that. He's exactly 1,000 years ago. He started the Lam Rims, really, in Tibet. He was an Indian. He came to Tibet. And his teacher was Dharma Rakshita. So he wrote a Lojong. So Lojong is a genre of literature called How to Develop a Good Heart. And if you're more technical, it's how to develop bodhicitta. It's exactly what we just talked about for an hour and a half. So that it's a whole genre of literature which is just devoted to how to develop bodhicitta. And it's so therefore it's very sweet. It's a very sweet, I like to translate it as developing a good heart. Some people say generating bodhicitta, and some person put it on one of my Lama's books as a title, and isn't it?
Mind training.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay. Anyway, mind training.
Mind development.
Stop. Anyway, so this is one of the most famous Lojongs, and it was granted by Dharma Rakshita to his student Atisha. So the first thing I like to do is go get. Oh, well, let me say one more thing. Then about 200 years ago, a Lama associated with Rajang Monastery, which is Atisha's monastery in Tibet, founded by him and his student Dromtenje. A Lama from there 200 years ago gave a teaching on the Crown of Knives. And it's an 11-session teaching, so I don't know how long a session was, but it was probably 11 days of teaching. It's long. It's the longest book in this room, except for Stanley, maybe. You only saw the first chapter, honey, so far. I didn't show you I didn't want to scare you. But it's one of the longest books we have. And it's very unique because nobody in this room is translating notes to a teaching. This is notes to a teaching. So it has a very beautiful flow. It has a very, very beautiful flow. It sounds like someone talking. And it's the logic of a Lama's mind, you know. And so the notes were taken by one of his students. It's a notes to an oral teaching. I have the name of the student, which I'll give you. And it's unbelievable. This is truly one of the books in this room where everybody else will say, I wish I had gotten that one. Every time I read one of your books, I'm like, oh, I like that one the best. But when I read his, I really decided it was the best. It jumps in straight away into some like science fiction dharma, beautiful stuff, and it's very readable. So really, it's at a more appropriate level for everybody in this room. But I stuck you with some hard books. There's a theory: if you overwhelm a donkey, he will get stronger. There's some theory that he will fall down and die.
Either way.
But but I love this book already, and it's beautiful. It's well structured. It's classical, and it's poetical, and it's just a fire. It's similar to Liberation and Powerhead. So without further ado. Just for Sage's sake, here's some materials I prepared for you. You don't need all of them now, but it's in your Dropbox. Okay. First, I put the author's name is Chichen Temba Rabgye. Say Chichen.
Chichen
Temba Rabgye. So Chichen means throne holder. Chi means a throne. Like Chi Jang Rinpoche. Jang means to hold the throne. Chichen means great throne holder. So I believe he was an abbot of Rajang Monastery. And his personal name is Temba Rabgye. Temba means teachings of the Buddha, and Rabgye means spreads them widely. Okay, his name means spreads widely the teachings of the Buddha. Why am I telling you all this? Because you're going to teach this in Guadalajara for an hour at least, maybe an hour and a half. But I want each translator to stand up and enjoy. Just kidding. Those of you who speak Spanish pretty well, you and Nick, I'd like you in Guadalajara during the break, during my break, 2-day break, that you teach your book. So already you should start thinking about, I made sure in your book there's some sexy stuff right away. So you're going to impress everybody right away. And then the Chinese speakers here, I'd like you to teach your book in Thailand during that Rim. And then the rest of you in Diamond Mountain. So if you can come and just teach it, at least teach one day, that would be nice. Okay. Yeah, talk to El Jefe. Yeah. Okay, second thing, is that the original or that's my translation? Yeah, that's my translation of the story of the Crown of Knives. Okay, so that's free. That's just 11 pages. Okay, and that's what you should give a copy to Xiaoping, because she wants to offer it to one of her teachers who's very interested in this subject. Okay, that's the second thing that's in your toy box. The third one is a translation I did for the ACI courses of this Lojong. I don't think I did the whole thing.
I think you did the whole thing.
I did do the whole thing.
Song color site.
Can you figure it out?
You want me to put it in the Dropbox?
Yeah. Okay. I tried to find a biography of Dhammarakshita, and I can't. Maybe there is one, but I don't know. So all I did was piece together some comments about him. And you and all the other translators, I'd like you to put a little biography of your author in the beginning of your book, but there's no big rush about it. You know, I'd rather have you work on your text, and somewhere towards the end of your text, 6 years from now, you should translate the biography, and then you should condense it into something interesting to a foreigner. Okay, Kama Vibhanga is the entire sutra of correlations, from which the Crown of Knives document, which is second, was drawn. So you can have the whole sutra. And I'm hoping, we think that Dr. Wu would like to translate that. This is, anytime you see my initials and a date, especially a recent date, that means that's my working copy of your translation. And that's the one you should be working from, because I've already done a lot of work for you.
Should I make a copy of that
Yeah.
or change to?
This goes into your Dropbox almost every night. So Who owns the mother copy? Right now I do.
Yeah.
But it goes to you after this class, and then I get it back, and we go like this. Now this is Dharma Rakshida's root text, which the Lama quotes during his talk. So now I'm going to talk about these lines. So the root text has been inserted into his lectures already, but I'm giving you a comparison copy. You see, just to make sure sometimes it's the one the one that they heard the Lama say is not the totally correct one. So anyway, it'll help you when you're translating that Lama's lectures. You may come to some verses that you're not sure if it's the root text or not. Then you can just check the next few lines of the root text and say, oh yeah, it is the root text. Okay. Root text meaning the original Lojong text about how to develop a good heart by Dharma Rakshita. Okay. This we can just throw away. When I say old on a file name, or I have a folder called older versions, it means I'm ignoring it. It's just I keep them in case my computer blows up or something. Okay, so ignore it. Anytime you see older versions, just skip it. Okay, see those two folders there? Now, during the early pages of your extraordinary text, he goes off on a Sakya teaching from the Sakyas. Very heavy, very deep, tantric stuff about the chakras and slicing into the chakras and stuff. So I went and got it for you. He refers to the teaching, but he doesn't explain it in detail. So I think it would make a nice little one-page addition to your book, because he doesn't. It's a really sexy idea, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't explain it all. Okay. Specific means it's actually a Vajrayogini commentary, and so I have the whole commentary here, and I cut out the part that you want, which is like only a few paragraphs. So specific means I cut it out. TS14 means I've already treated this subject in the Tantra courses, and you might just want to read it to get some background on it. And then this is a text version of his Lojong, the Crown of Knives.
And I just put the full version from Springtime Song in the year one Dropbox.
Okay, good.
I don't see this Dropbox. I'm still looking for it.
It's under Seiji. It's all under Seiji.
In the Geshe Michael one and year one text Geshe Michael versions.
Got it.
it's not.
Okay. Okay.
Now, why I put a text version in his Dropbox? It's not in our database. Okay, it's in the ACI courses. We have a volume of Lojongs put together by Tijan Rinpoche. It's in there, but apparently I never cut it out. So I thought you might like to insert it in the database.
Okay.
So that's all. That's all the stuff. Now let's go to the book. So eventually, you have to translate these biographies, and it's part of your introduction to your book. Okay, so where is that? So what you're really interested in is this one, this document with the date on it. Yeah, that's your working document. Okay, here we go. Oh, and by the way, there's also a scan of your text,
That's nice.
which I keep in a different place, which I'll show you. Scans. Yeah, this is a scan of your text. Now it's not preferable because it's type, it's computer, and we want to find a carving. But I haven't. That's something you guys can work on.
Yeah, I'm going to work.
Yeah, we'd rather have a carving, because people don't have high standards on computer in Tibet. Among Tibetan communities, they don't have high standards. But here's your text right here. This is the catalog to it. Tun means what?
In the chord?
Ow.
Tune?
Close. No cigar. We talked about tune.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it last term.
Ready,
Oh.
Phil, give him the
Tone
big
tune. It's like
Yeah.
It's like
tune do.
Tune.
Oh,
Yeah, session.
Yeah, session.
Yeah.
So what do you think Chitin Dumbo means?
The first.
Yeah, first day he taught.
Uh-huh.
That's his first
Oh.
session. That's his second session. Okay? And there's 11 total sessions. Then they go on to another commentary, which would be useful input, which is about alarm. It's alarm rim commentary.
Is that the name of it right there?
It's not, yeah, but it's not connected to his book. It
Okay.
just happens to be printed in the same volume.
Always looking for good stuff.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a really good one. Okay, anyway, it's dessert. You don't have to worry about it. But there's what your text looks like, okay? And we're going to start from the top. Okay, so why I'm showing you the scan is we will come across problems in the typing, and then I'll say, go check the scan. And the typing has the page number on it. This page number down here.
Okay.
By the way, I'll point something out to you guys. Nick, someone tell me what's this thing in the scan right here.
That's a number.
Good, yeah.
And then there's
What's
a
na?
one, it's a one and a na. Oh.
Yeah, good. Na and ba means front and back. Na and ba means front and back.
That's our
It's
A
A
and
and
B.
B, yeah. And it's very interesting. It's from the suffix letter.
Mm.
Dun and gyap.
Dun,
Huh.
dun.
Dun means in front of,
Uh-huh.
and gyap means behind. So the back page is called B from the suffix letter of gyab.
Yeah.
And the
That's
front of the page is called na because of the last letter of dun. Why they chose the last letter,
Yes.
God only knows, and only Rinpoche told me, only because I got told by Rinpoche, I would never have figured it out. So if you look down through here, you should see a 1 ba somewhere.
Yeah. And that's their 1A and 1B.
Well, there's the 2A.
Wow. And that's
So
the
what's
carving
that
they worked
imply?
They had a picture. They had a carving.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a wood carving. This input came from a wood carving, and they're doing careful work. They're giving you the carving. So you got to find the carving.
So they typed it in with a Tibetan font, I guess?
Yeah, and by the way,
Tell what?
this format was invented by ACIP. The whole Tibetan world is copying our format. We were the first.
What about
And in
this?
fact, Sugang's text was the first text ever printed on a computer. One of in that volume.
When you say this format, what is it you're seeing?
To put the header up here with the title of the book,
Okay.
to put this bar across,
Okay.
and to put the page number down here.
Okay.
That's a sign that they stole it from ACIP.
Okay,
We
good.
invented this formatting.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's very cool. And the whole world everyone in Tibet is following it. Because our books reach Tibet.
Who printed this? What is this from?
You can,
Yeah, it was-
no, it's not. It's Tibet, I think.
Oh, wow.
No.
I'm guessing it's Tibet. Yeah, it's from Surten Monastery. I don't know where that Surten
You
Monastery.
can tell by the guy's hat. At least what school he's in, can't you?
That's a Kagyu, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. They do some good stuff. Okay, here we go. Don't worry. It's just because I know I'm being filmed. Okay, where were we? Okay, so that's your scan, Seiji, and it's in your Dropbox there somewhere. That's for when you're not sure some reading is correct. Okay, so here's your text. I'm going to crank up the view. Do you need it bigger, you guys? You okay? You need it bigger? I'll do it slightly
I
bigger.
can see like that. Allison and Vimala.
It's hard and back.
Yeah, it is.
I kind of like this speed. Is that better? That's about as wide as we can get. Let me try something bigger.
Yeah, there's a little drag bar too in the lower
Sure.
right corner. You can quick customize it a little bit. No, I
There's
can see.
200. How about that's good. Okay, let's go. Okay, here we go.
All
Isn't
right.
one of these chairs-
Fasten your seatbelts. We're going off on Seiji's text. This is a brilliant text. We're going to be with it for 6 years, 5-6 years. Okay, and here we go. Take a breath. Kyab dag dorje chung. Okay, what's kyab mean?
covers.
Yeah, are you recording? Are you okay, that's your job. Keb means covers, dak means Lord, and Kebdak is a tantric expression, which means Lord over a secret world. It's a tantric expression which means Lord of a secret world, Lord of a secret mandala. It's called Kebdak. Master of the whole mandala. It means something like that. You can get sexy here, that's up to you. Now, he's naming the person who wrote the notes is referring to his lama as Dorje Chang, Vajradhara, which is the form that the Buddha took when he taught Tantra, as an angel with silk and bone and jewels. So Dorje Chang, Vajradhara. I like to call it holder of the diamond. Sorry, keeper of the diamond. What's holder of the diamond?
Vajrapani?
Yeah, Vajrapani. Lakna Dorje. Who in the hand. So I like to keep them separate, and you should think about that. Holder of the diamond is Vajradhara. Keeper of the diamond is Vajrapani. Pani means hand. Okay, so right now it's Vajradhara, the great Vajradhara, Chembo, Ne, okay, meaning he spoke it from him. Ne means from, Nes. Lojong means that genre of literature, text on how to develop the good heart. And then here's the name, Tsunja Korlo. Okay, Tsunja Korlo. Now I warn you, sometimes they say wheel of knives, and sometimes they say knife wheel. So sometimes there'll be a apostrophe I here, Tsunje Korlo, and sometimes they'll just say Tsunja Korlo. Why is it important for you when you're dealing with a database? You're going to have to look for both. Okay, with and without the apostrophe S. You see, of knives. Sometimes they just call it knife wheel, and sometimes they call it wheel of knives. But when you're looking for it in a book of books, you better know that there's two variations, Tsuncha Korlo and Tsunje Korlo. And to be honest, the Tibetan is more likely to say Tsunja Korlo. Tsunja Korlo. They won't say Tsunje Korlo. Okay, they'll just say, what are you working on? Tsunja Korlo. It's what do you call them? It's crucial to know what book you're working on. As soon as you don't know what book you're working on, you will meet a Tibetan Lama tomorrow. And they'll say, what book are you working on? And you're like, it happened to me. Dalai Lama's teacher. Okay, he's like, what book are you on? Okay, you gotta have it on the edge of your tongue. Tsunja Kola. Okay. I'm a Tsunja Kola guy. I'm doing Tsunja Kola. Okay, with some pride, chutzpah. What do you call that in Spanish?
Orgullo.
Or
He wants to say gallardía.
yeah, I want to say gallardía. Okay, I'm the Tsunja Kola man. You don't know me? Okay, Tsunja Kola. Shenlong. Shenlong means explanatory oral teaching. Okay, I don't want you to translate it that way, I'm just telling you. Shen means explain, lung means oral teaching. It means he gave it in a public teaching. Shenlong. Tsel means, tsel is a very beautiful Buddhist word that means he granted us. It means to grant in word, to grant by words. Okay, it's a high honorific. There's an honorific and there's a high honorific. This is high honorific. He granted us. Cup means when, or on the occasion. Scups. Okay, on the occasion on which he granted us an oral teaching on the text for developing a good heart called The Crown of Knives. Okay. On that occasion, cup. Sungshe means teaching. Here, it just means teaching, or oral explanation, teaching. Sinti,
Notes.
yeah, these are lecture notes. Notes taken on the occasion of a teaching given orally on the text on developing the good heart entitled The Crown of Knives. Okay? And then you get the author, and then it says, a teaching given by the great keeper of the diamond, the Lord of the secret world. They don't give his name. It's just all the students know. By the way, every generation refers to their teacher this way. So you need someone to tell you which Lord of the Secret World it was. Now, in Buddhist titles, you get a descriptive title and you get a poetical title. And so oftentimes you start with the poetical title in English, and then you say, the apple that was eaten by all beings, an explanation of the wheel of nice, or something like that, crown of nice. So here comes your poetical title, which is going to come at the beginning of your title. And this is the title by which it will be known in English by people. So you have to think carefully and make it beautiful, succinct, and accurate. Okay, here it is. Shen pen yuku kepe dutsi. Shen pen yuku kepe dutsi. This is the artificial title that our note taker gave to his notes. Okay, dutsi means in Sanskrit amarta, deathless nectar. I like to translate it as deathless nectar. Dutsi. Dutsi means deathless nectar. Which kepa,
Brings forth.
yeah, which
Gives rise to.
I don't know. I've never found a good verb. Which causes to grow, but you got to work on it. What?
Sprouts.
A nyuku. Nyuku means just a little sprout when it first comes out. A sprout.
Bamboo. Yeah.
It can mean bamboo and it can mean pen, because pens were carved out of bamboo sticks for calligraphy. But here it means a sprout, tiny sprout, first come up, of shen pen.
Benefit others.
Yeah, of help for others.
Health and happiness.
Yeah, Shenpen. There are even lamas in other traditions called Mr. Lama Shenpen. It means helps everybody. So good luck. And you can be creative on a title. Like, I don't know. There's titles that people have come up with that stuck, that weren't totally accurate, but they stuck.
Guide to a Bodhisattva's way of life.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a pretty
yeah.
good title. I mean, I even switched over to that title because it's so clear. It's not what the Sanskrit says, but it's a good name for a book. So that's your job. You gotta think about it. Don't feel pressure to decide today. Go home. Sit in your little stream there. Have some apple juice and say, what am I going to name my book? Because it has. Tsunjakolo is cool name. Crown of Knives. Tsunjakolo. It's not unusual to call a commentary by the root text name. Maybe you call it the Crown of Knives. I don't know. Maybe you call your book the Crown of Knives. Maybe this is the subtitle.
Yeah.
Because a little sprout that helps people is not going to go over too well. Is there anything important about the verb ge here that you guys can think of?
The vowel.
The fact that it's, is it the past tense?
It's not because it doesn't have a sa.
Get.
Oh, semke.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, an alternate name for bodhicitta in Buddhism is simke, generating the mind or developing the mind. Okay. I think it's no accident he's chosen that verb. Okay. A synonym for bodhicitta, because the Lojong literature, the Lo in Lojong is bodhicitta. You're supposed to practice this state of mind or develop this state of mind. So the Tibetan word for bodhicitta is semke, to grow the mind. So that could lead you to speculate that somewhere in here is the mind state. So maybe the sprout is not a sprout that helps others, but a desire to help others. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's hiding semke in this title.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and maybe he's saying it's like a little attitude in us right now. And if you read this book, where I pour the nectar of deathlessness on the sprout to make it grow faster, maybe that's the point of his book. Maybe he's helping us develop the tiny little sprout in our mind of our unselfish desire to help others. I bet that's more what he means. So sit with it.
Mm.
You know, just chew on it. Okay. Sheijiawa Shukso is a standard. Sheijiawa means so-called, and it's just quotation marks around the title.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in Tibetan, you never get the beginning quotation mark. You only get the ending one.
How do you know when it starts? When it's
You just know. So, no, you get enough experience. But it starts back here. It's just a title.
Oh.
In English, we italicize a title. That's all. In situ, in a text, inside a text, we italicize a title. That's in English. Newspapers, magazines, films, and books are italicized in situ. Okay.
We don't say the New York Times lives in here.
Yeah. And Shukso means herein contained is the book called. Now, some people make that a big thing in the title. Some people just leave it. You know, there's obscure explanations of why it's important, but what is it in Sanskrit?
Which one? Oh.
The Shukso.
Nam, it's like Nam,
No, it's in Sanskrit too.
Nama?
No, it literally means herein sitting.
Oh.
Anyway, viharati is resting here. You know, this wisdom is relaxing here on its bed until you come to wake it. It's like you see explanations like that. Viharati. Vihara means a resting place. Came to mean temple. Probably in Indonesia there's biharas or something. And there's this country called Bihar, right?
Bihar State.
State.
Bihar
Yeah,
State.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. BV. Okay. I put some biographical stuff in here. When I add stuff for your convenience, it's going to be in bold, and it's going to have these curly braces, so you don't think it's part of the book.
that means notes from.
It means a note I'm giving to you. By the time you finish, this should be gone, and it should be in a footnote of your own composition. Okay, so I've given you his full name. This Dorji Chang here, the holder of the diamond, is Chichen Tempa. The common title by which he's known is Chichen Tempa Rabge. His full monk name is Lojong Yeshe Tempa Rabge. Okay, Lojong Yeshe Tempa Rabge. Okay. Any lama named Lojong is Gelugpa, because it's Tsongkhapa's name. My name is Lojong. So anyway, it's kind of an alert, you know. Like, oh, it's probably gonna be a good book. Okay, those are his those are his dates for you. 1759, 1815. I don't know what year he taught this, but with a little study, we can maybe figure it out. Okay, it's probably around 1800. Now, his teacher was super famous, so I think if you're gonna talk about your book to people, you should say, I know you may not know Chichen Tempa, but he was Yongzhen Yeshe Gyaltsen's student. Okay, I should add Yongzhen here. So Yongzhen means teacher of the Dalai Lama. It means the tutor or the mentor. It means to hold entirely. And there's a study of Yongzhen's in the Prajnaparamita literature. But anyway, it means he had a high position. He was recognized as a High Lama.
Yongsu Zimpa?
Yeah, Yongsu Zimba. And his name is Yeshe Gyaltsen. And there are his dates. So you can see some overlap. Normally it's an overlap of about 30 years between a Lama and their student. I say again?
For which Mr.
Sorry?
Yongzhen for which?
I don't know. Check the dates of the Dalai Lamas and you can figure it out. But that's not the most interesting thing about him. He wrote a huge 2-volume book with the biographies of all the Lamrim teachers from the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah. And his nickname is Sechok Ling.
It's like a 3 or 4 volume book or something.
Yeah,
It's huge.
It's huge. It's 2,000 pages. Sechok Ling. That was his monastery at Sechok Ling. But sometimes he's called Sechok Ling, his teacher. and he wrote a thing called the Biographies of the Lamas of the Lamrim. And it's exquisite, and it's brilliant. So I think it rubbed off on his student. I put his Seicho link there. Anyway, Colophon says that the person who took the notes with the Lama's permission, because oftentimes in the Colophon is the final few pages of the book. In the Tibetan book, there will be information about where was it printed, who paid for the printing, where was the Lama when he wrote the book, stuff like that. So in the Colophon here, I went to check it because I was curious to see if the person who wrote it down was famous. In the case of Liberation in Our Hands, the person who wrote it down became more famous than his teacher. Well, arguably. A great, great writer. Chijang Rinpoche, my teacher's teacher. Great, one of the probably between the two of them, they're the greatest writers in Tibetan history. If you throw Tsongkhapa in. Then, anyway, I went to see, was the student famous who wrote it down, and he's not. Okay? So I couldn't find any more information about him, but here's his name. Serta Kembo. Trulming Zimba. Losan Tunlin Namgyal. Now, there is a Losan Tunlin Namgyal who's famous.
Oh yeah, Chinle Rinpoche?
Yeah, but I don't think it's the same one. This will bear more study. What's interesting to me is his name implies there used to be a branch of Sera called Sertut.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was only aware of 3 colleges, Serame, Serache, and Ngakpa the Tantu, Sera Tantu College. This one was destroyed completely. Every monk was killed. This one destroyed completely. It's gone. I like to think Diamond Mountain is Ngakpa But so that was a Tantu college that was part of Sera, and it was everyone was killed. Then these two, Sera May means the lower part of Sera, so you would expect there to be a higher part of Sera, which would be Sera Tut. So here's the Sera Tut. He's called abbot of Sera Tut. Okay. I don't know. I never heard of Sera Tut, but maybe there was a Sera Tut.
Is it mentioned in that book?
I don't know yet. I haven't read this book yet. I didn't spend that long in the bathroom. That's a good question. Don't remember.
Could it be an older name for
It could be.
Oh.
It could be. Anyway, Trul Ming means, probably means he's an emanation of this abbot. He's a later life, a rebirth of this. So Trul Ming often comes after the name of the person that you're supposed to be a reincarnation of. You see what I mean?
Emanated name.
Zimba means it's kind of a modesty statement. They gave me this name. I'm a keeper of this name. But here's his real monk's name, Losan Tunlin Namgyal. Okay, I don't see him in TBRC. His dates have got to be. You figure generations when you're figuring Tibetan Lama dates, and you don't know a Lama's dates. Find the Lama after him and find the Lama before him, and 30 years apart. That's normal. So it's normal that a Lama who's 64 should have the best students will be around 35, 40 years old. This is normal in Tibet. Okay. All right. Let's go. You okay? You're too young. I'll still take
I'm
you.
right there.
Okay. Okay, what was the part in Nick's book that wasn't into Nagarjuna's book?
It wasn't in Nagarjuna's book?
What was the part we were discussing this morning? I know it was a long time ago.
What's the question?
What was into Nagarjuna's books but not into of his other books?
Oh, about an obeisance.
Yeah, an offering of praise. And this is a traditional thing at the beginning of a Buddhist book. You bow down to somebody and you praise them to kind of set the mood and to show that you are a good student. Okay, so he's going to have a poem about his Lama. Okay, so you've got we should get his name. What's his name again? Let's call him Losan Tunle
Oh.
Namgyal. Losan Tunle Namgyal is going to write a little verse at the beginning. This is not part of the lecture. He's added it to the book, okay? Some praise of his Lama, who's, what do you call that? It's really a, what do you call it? A transcript. It's a transcript before the days of a tape recorder. Okay? Okay, here we go. Konseng Tontu Denbe Manila. Now, it's a tradition in ancient India and Tibet. It's called a peekaboo game. And you start a poem with who it may be, who is most brilliant, most handsome, you know, and then by the end of the line you say the person's name. You see, Kangi Lodu Dimni Tendaniki Tukarapsene. He translated the most famous Kang. Right? Yeah. Which is a praise of Manjushri. But anyway, here's a Kang. So there's a Lama, Kang, somebody. Okay? And here's the verb. I bow down to that guy. And then he's not going to tell you who it is right away. Okay? So go down to here. Do means to bend over or to bow down to. I bow down to, and now here comes this long guessing game. I bow down to a person. I bow down to somebody who, if you
Seeing their name.
if you just see their name, sen means name. If you just see their name written down,
Hear it.
or you hear their name spoken by somebody,
Or
or you even recall someone telling you their name, Manila means in that instant, in that split second. Mani means split second. It's like Kechik Mani. Mani means like in a moment. In a split second, Manila. It's very rare, so don't worry about it. Something will happen to your sabans, the seeds inside of you. And he's talking about bad seeds. Okay. They will be chung ne chung, means ripped out from the roots. And I've explained this verb to you before. It's a very violent verb. It also means to rape somebody. Okay? So here it's used in a positive way. You rip out the roots of your negative seeds. Just hear my Lama's name, all your bad seeds will be ripped out. You don't have to study or anything. Okay, what kind of seed for Dr. Zimba?
Holding to
holding to the
self-hatred.
self.
Yeah, for our tendency to believe that things are them. I like to call docs sometimes nowadays that things are themselves. Rips out the seed of the belief that things are themselves, meaning the pen's coming this way. Sorry, this way.
Instead of self-existing?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I say to you, okay, let's do the waiter test, let's go out tonight. You know, you tell the waiter, I would like to help you tear out your seeds for your self-existence perception. And I will say, I'm going to help you stop thinking that you are you. Then he's going to go, whoa. Because that's what it means. And isn't it a sweeter way to say it, that you are you, than to say you have the tendency to grasp to your self-existent nature? And, you know, it's, come on. I'm just suggesting it might be a sexy way to translate it. Your job is to make your own choices. But if it doesn't sound cool, I won't waste time on it. Okay.
Rip it out.
So, yeah. So the moment I hear this Lama's name, whose name I don't know yet, it rips out your tendency to think that things are themselves, or that you are yourself. Okay. And on the positive side, it gave us
Expands the wisdom.
your wisdom, which Tokpa, this word RTOGS spelled with S means to realize. Without the S, it means to think and probably wrong, so it's a dangerous word. Okay, it spreads, it expands your wisdom, which understands that things are not themselves. Dak me, there is no self-nature. Okay, I would say that things are not themselves, especially since it's poetry. We're not getting technical here. We're trying to attract people. Okay. We want to say something sexy. I bought a bunch of copies of Rumi for all of you. I'll bring them. This is Arabic literature,
Farsi? Farsi?
written in Farsi. And some guy, this is, 1200s?
1300, yeah.
So he's a poet from the 12 to 1300s. And an American or a British, I don't know, some Westerner has taken his poetry and translated it into very accessible English. And I'll tell you something, I believe there's 6 million books on Amazon. If you're a good writer, you're in the top 100,000. I'm in the top 100,000 barely. This book is number 400. Okay, Rumi, the Rumi translation. Every other American has a copy, because he just did a beautiful job of converting it into something Americans can read. So I encourage you to think about it. You know, do you want your book to be on the shelf there that nobody ever opened? Or do you want people to read it? You know, so I encourage you to think about it. It may be necessary that we produce a technical translation, and then you do a modern version. You know, a digestible version. I'm helping you make the technical translation. In your lifetime, I hope that each of you will take your book and convert it into a popular book, like the Diamond Cutter Business book. Okay, so that's actually a big part of that is Dharmaraksita. The chapter about the 46 or correlations or whatever, that comes from Dharmaraksita. So I want to see you guys master plan. You know, master the technical translation, produce a correct, accurate translation, then regurgitate it as a business book or a relationship book or a how to live your life book that helps people. And yours is especially fitting for that, you know, and write it in Spanish if you're more comfortable in Spanish. I don't know what you're more comfortable with, but it's up to you. And then translate it into other language. Okay, so he helps expand your wisdom if you just hear his name, which perceives that things are not themselves. Okay, I bow down to the holder of the diamond, whose katen is tsume.
Kindness is unmatched.
Good, yeah, whose kindness knows no match. There's a pun going on here. Who can tell me? Super pun, ultra pun.
Something about the self.
I'm going to tell you. It's no fun to tell you. What's the Lama's name? Temba, Trichen Temba.
Rab Gye. Oh, is it Gye Rab? Aha, yeah.
He hid the name in the praise of the name. He hid the name in the praise of the name.
Oh, that's cool.
He just put it in your ear. He just let you tong to den his name.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah. And he hid it because that Lama's name means to spread. Rabge means to spread. You see? His name is Rabge. He's tricking us. It's so cool. That's worth a footnote, probably. Or, you know, you might put in italics the word spread and then footnote and then say, this is in fact the guts of the Lama's names. I'm surprised he didn't put a Temba in here somewhere, but he didn't. Got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Gun is a word that's often applied to Nagarjuna.
Protector.
Yeah, protector, savior. Okay, gun means protector or savior. Ignore the prefix letter, silent. Gun de, des is instrumental, and that means that gun is which part of the sentence?
The subject.
Good, yeah. So in Tibetan, you don't say, Seiji went to the store. You say, by Seiji, the store was gone to. Okay, so this is just Tibetan syntax. So the subject of the next verse is going to be the Lama. That savior, sewa, loves, draws us
all goers.
in the nikdu.
All
In the
times.
degenerate time.
Good, nice, sweet. Human dictionary. Okay. That Lama has a great love for beings of these degenerate age. I like to call it the days of darkness. Let's do a waiter test, No, just think, if you say to the waiter, what's days of darkness? He'll say, I don't know, the day somebody was elected. And then they say, well, what's the degenerate age? And he'll say, it's probably something to do with sex or something. It doesn't sound, I want a days of darkness. Okay. Why did he say Jetewe, Anu, in Sanskrit?
Yeah.
Before love, why did he say Anu love?
After love.
It is after.
Yeah, they always say that.
I'll tell you something. There's two reasons, okay? It's a common thing to request the Lama to Jesusuma.
Look after. Or
Keep me.
Take after.
Keep me in your care. Never let go of me. I say it to be on, Jesusuma me. Keep me in your care. Keep me with you. And but partly he needs a syllable. Okay? Gane, Nikdu, Jola, Jetse, We, Techen, Chiki, Ninku, Malupa, Gagne, Singi, Sanwa, Le Dangpe, Kasan, Vijay, Sole, Koshage. It's poetry. He needed an extra beat. Okay? So, to me, he's got both things going on. I would try to find a word for love, which implies keeping close. Okay, and that's not easy. If you're a really great translator, you take a little prefix like that and you change the whole verb. Is there a word for love which more shows care? Loving care or something like that. Without 10 words, okay? Change it to a single word in English. Change it from love to, care. Change it from love to care. The anu in Sanskrit, the Jesu, implies some kind of,
Cares for all.
what do you call that?
Nestling.
Nestling, hugging, I don't know.
Nestle all people.
Okay, here we go. Tekchen, easy. Tekchen,
Mahayana.
Mahayana, great vehicle, great. I like to call it greater way. Chuki Ninku. Ninku means, ku means juice, kua. It can mean semen also. It means essential liquid. Ninku especially means essential liquid. What it means is the guts of the guts. The distilled juice, okay? But find a sweeter word. It means the very essence. Essential is good. Essential something. But it means the inner essential
Interesting.
juice of anything. Okay. Here it's the Ninku of Tekchen Chu.
Of the Mahayana Dharma, the
Yeah, so what's he talking about?
teachings of the greater way.
Lojong. He's talking about Lojong.
Specialized time.
Oh, come on, we just started. So he said, I'm going to give you the inner secret juice of all the teachings of the Mahayana Dharma.
And then somebody tells you time's
Okay.
Don't worry.
Let's just go. What do I do next? What do I have to do next? I'm free, right?
Word.
Oh my.
Oh.
Word.
Oh, his is too hard.
Yeah, like not even a break. I know people.
Really, no
need-
break?
people need-
Let me finish this line.
Yes, sir.
Am I going to give you some of the Ninku? Some of that secret juice? No. Malupa. All of it. I'm pouring it out. Malupa means in its entirety. Maluspa. Okay? All of it. Gagme is cool. Gagme means unstopping. He just kept flowing. He just kept doing it. His whole life, just pour. Gagme means never stopping. Okay. Never pausing. It doesn't mean never ending, okay? It means never pausing, without a pause. his Sung.
Is teaching.
Sungi Sangwa now, there's the Sangwa Sum. Do you remember from tantric class?
Secret song.
Three secrets. Secret of body, secret speech, secret mind. So every lama is supposed to have secret thoughts, secret actions, and secret words. But here, from the secret of his words, from his secret words, Lei Tang.
Remember?
Now, no, come on, you just had tongue a dozen times.
Pull out.
Yes, thank you. He's the student who took the notes is offering to Zheng the Ninku.
Take out the essence.
Yeah, for you guys who come later in the SCIM, I'm gonna extract the Ninku for you. Okay, from all his secret words, unpausing secret words. Chang means I'm gonna extract it for you. I'm gonna squeeze it out for you. And Goshad Ge is an idiom which means let's divvy it up, let's split it up, let's all take a piece. Okay, Gosha is like in the monastery when the sponsor gives $1,000 and then each monk gets a. Ge means to split it up. Okay, so Gosha Ge means to split it up. Okay, so he's cool. The guy who took the notes is saying, you know, I sucked all the juice out of that lama's words, and I'm going to give everybody a little bit. Okay, like that. Okay, to the Dulje Tsok, to the gathering of the disciples, meaning us, all disciples who come later, to the group of disciples who are Gelsang,
Have good karma.
only if you have enough karma. Who have enough karma. Okay. Got it? Meaning, the implication is there are people who won't get it. And they won't get Goshigyap. In Tibetan colloquials, Goshigyap. Goshigyap means split up the food or split up the juice. So I'm going to split this juice up with everybody who's got enough karma to get it. That's it. That's a verse. Okay? Very sexy verse. Okay? Got it?
Yeah.
He's offering to split it up with us. Thank you. I put $3 when I'm done for the day. And then it's a place marker, right? Okay, let's go. Who's got a...
Sashi.
Shinkuki Jushin Eto Tam Rira Lingshi Ninde Gembadi Sangye Shindu Mikte Uwagi Dokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Inam Guru Ratna Mandala Kambi Atayami Di Gewokun Sanam Yeshe Tozoshin Sanam Yeshe Lejungwe Damba Gunyi Topasho. Okay, cool.